intuitive. And this is something where he, as the CEO, can get the information right from the system without having to go somewhere else where he has to learn, where he has to be acquainted with. And that was the beginning of, not just the beginning, this was the tipping point from just having a CRM project to having a full-blown ERP project, including all of the details with accounting. Yeah, so that's where we ended up with. So we did in Odoo not just the billing, but also the accounting. Because when you go into the invoice, and from there, basically, you see the bookings already made. So there's not a big step from invoicing to also accounting. Okay, there are many things around it that come on top if you go also with accounting, but just from a user perspective, it's a natural evolvement because in Odoo, everything is so integrated.
Yeah. Does it work now? Yeah, it works. So we came to the question, why shouldn't we replace SAP completely? Like we heard before, we had the problem that SAP was our software to create the invoices, but it was not transparent. So we had a big lack of transparency and of information because only a few people in the company had access to SAP. So for example, it was like that, an account manager is asking the finance department, did the customer already pay its invoice or is it still unpaid? And I can tell you, you don't want to get a lot of questions for that every day. That's why we had a look at Odoo, and like Mr. Sauer said before, we could do everything in there. But we were not brave enough to just do everything in Odoo. That's why we also took another German established accounting program, which is called DATEV, and we built an interface that is, on the one hand, receiving information from Odoo, but on the other hand, sending that information back. So we have like a real cycle of information, which we didn't have in SAP. So SAP was just receiving some data from our old CRM, but not sending anything back, and we didn't see in the CRM if a customer paid its invoice or not. But what did the auditor say about Odoo? So in Germany, we have a lot of regulations, like many of you maybe know, and we also have like a big freedom in Odoo with resequencing, invoice number and all that stuff. So the auditor at first had found a couple of issues, and we were discussing with him a lot of times, and we're searching solutions and we're finding solutions.
Yeah, in this part, it played out that we are partnering up with other Odoo partners. In Germany, we are founding partners of the Alliance Odoo for Germany. That means that the partners are not only acting alone, but they're joining forces in projects. And so we reached out to Syskun, who have lots of experience, in particular in the data export and with their GOBD modules. And so what we did is we facilitated additional apps from Odoo that needed to be installed, plus apps from our side. As I explained, we're specialized for accounting, so we had multiple accounting apps, and in particular apps to make Odoo compliant with German regulations. And also, hello Matthias, Syskun joined us in the project to put all our apps together to, in the end, have a working solution for that. And yeah, here we are. It worked. I want to add one thing for everyone who's not from Germany. You might be wondering what we are talking about when we say DATEV. In Germany, every tax accountant works with a system which is called DATEV. And since all of the tax consultants work with the system, we use Odoo and a DATEV export so that they can continue to use their own system. If you are wondering why they're talking about something like DATEV export, if you're from Germany, you will know, but otherwise, yeah, that's the background. Okay. What were the challenges in the project? From my side, so from the Odoo partner side, one of the main challenges is that SAP and Odoo are very different in certain aspects. The issue is not SAP or Odoo, as I explained. Like we were an SAP company, and 2016 we started with Odoo, but it's the processes, the mindset, the methodology, the business flow is quite different in certain aspects, in particular accounting. And so one of the challenges was to do kind of a mapping from SAP to Odoo. And Odoo ticks differently. Is it allowed to do it this way? Does it make sense? Why is there a difference? And to explain all of these things were a big part of the project. So when we do a project, it's not just here you have a few apps and then the system will be running. A big part is to explain the differences, to explain why, and not just we do it like this and this, but also to give the answers why it does make sense. We did not only replace SAP, but also we replaced multiple solute-specific systems. They are called SVS and SPV, and there were many questions attached to that. Like, should we just copy the old processes to Odoo or rebuild them? You know, when you have a working app in Odoo, we always try to go with the Odoo standard because, you know, Odoo put lots of thought into things. It makes sense to do it, and you have less costs in maintenance and upgrades. But how do you deal if you have a landscape of custom-built solutions that you need to replace with Odoo 2? So there's no Odoo standard app available for this, so we couldn't go with the standard approach, and we had to replace those systems. And in there, you decide where to keep the current data model and where to change it, where to keep existing processes and where to change it. And one of the really smaller things was that one shop has one customer, and with Odoo, one customer can have multiple shops. And with this change, there comes pain because you need to change many things. But there comes lots and lots of flexibility because all of a sudden you have the possibility to serve multiple shops and maintain the data of the customer only once. So it's always a benefit why you do it, but it usually comes with a transformation which can cause time and a change of the own processes, and that needs to. That's a thing that people should keep in mind. It's not only about the IT; it's only about the processes and the people working with the solution. And one of the challenges we mentioned already, the scope was increased step by step heavily. So from the beginning, from CRM to full-blown ERP portal, and replace custom developments too. Many customers, when they talk about moving to Odoo, they ask about the data migration. Data migration is really important because you want to keep the data that you have already. Data is the gold in our age, and so you somehow need to get it into Odoo. So how did we do it on a very high level? We have a ready-made migration plan. It's like a timetable or like a step-by-step guide where we say, okay, we need to do this, we need to do this. This and this table needs to be filled before the other one has to be filled. So we could take this to go to the IT department of Solute and together with them describe what we take over and how. The main work was, at least from our side, to do the field mappings. And once all the field mappings from SAP to Odoo were ready, everything went quite well. Regarding the migration itself, the IT department of Solute did it themselves. So there was a data cleanup involved. Data redundancy was eliminated during the migration so that the data was clean in the new system. And yeah, so this was done as a step in the migration too. Well, then there were a few test migrations, and step by step, the things were added until all the stakeholders were satisfied that they find all the data they need in the new system. In the next slide, I talk about the split of work. Just that you get an idea of the size and of the work in the project. From SAMSA, we had 69 generic apps. A generic app means it's not an app that would only work for Solute. It's apps that would work for many customers. So we sell those to many customers. And for Solute, we used 69, which is quite a lot compared to other projects. And we had 17 for contacts, 14 for accounting. So you see also, yeah, where were the main points, in particular for the German requirements. Portal, documents, and then apps in other areas too. And also we used 8 partner apps. There are also specific apps. They are only relevant for Solute, but might not be useful to other ones. 34 have been implemented by us, and 37 by the developers of Solute. Our job, it was to do the consulting, key user training, and developer tests, and the data mapping. And in-house, Solute took over the end-user training, functional testing, data cleanup, and import. Yeah, at the end of the projects, there were a few lessons learned. Business transformation is a big part of the project. This is something that is in particular to when you have used an SAP system before, because the business changes quite a bit with the Odoo implementation. And testing early to understand Odoo is a real benefit, because you can benefit from all of the good ideas, all the thoughts that Odoo have put into Odoo, making it an intuitive, easy to work with solution. Start early. For us in the project, it took quite some time, because we added things on top and top and top. And if you have an early start with a clear goal of the things that you want to do with the system, then you can more focus on these goals. And it is combined with do a quick go live, because you can add things on top after the go live, because Odoo is a really modular system.
Yeah, but the most important question is, was it worth it, or do we regret putting Odoo as our main system. So we're using it now for almost 1 year, and we're happy with it, and would do a lot of it quite the same, but there would also be some stuff that we would change, and we definitely can say like we would for the go live go for a smaller scope, focusing on specific apps or features, and then adding other features step by step so that you can really focus on the new features and new apps and not doing everything all at once, because it was quite risky and stressful, yeah, but it worked.
So we're coming to the questions and answers. If you didn't put your question already into the pad, you can do so now. Just scan the barcode and you can enter your question.
There are already a lot, so we will be able to answer everything. We'll try to do as much though. So, straightforward question. How much money did Solute save using Odoo?
How much money did Solute save? To be honest, I can't tell you yet. I can't tell you the next year. So maybe you can ask me the question next year again. I really honestly can't tell you. I don't know.
Keeping it for next year then. Is it possible to create a generic migration tool, or is SAP migration always 100% custom? So could you create a standard migration tool from SAP to Odoo?
Well, first thing, there is not, SAP is a big name, but SAP has multiple systems. So that's something to start with. And so from our experience, we always selected the respective source system, and the data export is available in SAP. So it's possible to export. And of course, with the data mapping, it's something that helps if you have done it before.
All right, thank you. Was the Datev integration readily available, or did you have to build it from scratch? Datev is a must-have, so someone agrees to that too.
I will talk about this in more detail in tomorrow's talk about the German accounting. It's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And for now, I just give you a small summary. At the time, like we used an extra module to make it working. And more details, I have a full talk about it tomorrow.
Great. What were the concerns of the auditor when auditing Odoo?
I don't know if concern would be the right word. He almost got a heart attack at the beginning. Things like that in Odoo you can resequence invoice numbers. It gives you a shock if you're an auditor or if you're an tax consultant. In particular, in Germany, the regulation is really strict, but there are additional tools in Odoo, like the data inalterability report for the accounting that helps a lot. And still there were other things missing. And together in our partner network, we pulled together the specific apps. And then it was like a patchwork from different partners to make all of the things fit. And there were quite a few.
All right, thank you. How long did the project take before go live? So it's been a year now that it's in place.
It took almost 3 years.
Maybe one or two last questions. Did you have a lot of customizations on SAP, and were they also then transferred to Odoo?
Actually, SAP was quite standard, so we didn't have any customizations. Most of the customizations were in our CRM, and we took a couple of them in Odoo.
All right. Does Odoo work in Germany with the standard it gives? Someone already answered yes. So I'm thinking accounting-wise, localization for Germany.
Yeah, accounting for Germany, if you want to know in detail what works, what's missing. Tomorrow I have a talk about it, 2 p.m.
Same.
And it's Germany specific. So it's about the German localization. What can you do with Odoo? What's missing? What maybe extra tools, online platforms you can use to complement Odoo? So all of these things I will explain in detail. So if you're from Germany, I'm happy to see you there.
All right, thank you very much. There's a whole bunch of questions, but I think we'll have to move to the other one. So I can only invite you all to pay them a visit and then on the booth. Thank you.
So if you want to meet me or meet us, just we're outside, and also you can come by at the other talks, and otherwise just shoot an email if you have any more questions. Bye-bye. Thank you.